Penneo is a Danish company listed in Denmark, and Penneo has a digital signing solution. Nicolaj, Højer, Nielsen, you are the CEO of the company. Please tell me more about Penneo.
Yeah, Penneo is a software as a service company, and as you said, we basically started as a signing platform, but we moved away from that to provide a much more end-to-end solution to some specific industries. So yes, we still do signing, but we also are providing the entire customer journey for some specific industries, mainly accounting and auditors. In Scandinavia, we are having the majority of the large accounting companies as our customers. So that's basically what we do. We are headquartered here in Copenhagen. We are doing most of our business here from. We have 23 nationalities here. So when we enter a new market, that could be Finland or Belgium, from Copenhagen, and then later on we would consider doing sales subsidiaries. We are 75 people right now, and we were listed at Nasdaq First North in June this year. Until then, we were more or less focusing on organic growth, but then saw this massive opportunity to moving out of Scandinavia. So we just signed here a few months ago the first large Belgian accounting company as our customer.
And tell me about your business model and your typical clients.
Yeah, our business model is subscriptions, software as a subscription. So a client of ours will say, we would like to digitalize our product or the business, and that could be a large accounting company. So if you're a large accounting company in Sweden, we actually have 4 of the big 10 as customers. They will buy a monthly subscription. The size of that or the price of that are depending on how much they're going to use it. The classic, are they a big company, a small company, are they using it for one corner of the business or big? So they basically have a classic monthly bill for that, and we help them sign the annual reports, store documents, do the process in that, and also onboarding new customers. So a classic issue for these companies is the KYC, your customer. So before they have to give you any advice, they will have to identify you. In the old days, they sent it via email and asked for your passport and driver's license via email. We have implemented a solution where they can do it digitally instead.
And you have about 800 clients?
How? No, 1,800. 1,800 clients.
Yeah, 1,800.
Yeah.
What do you think about your client expansions in the coming year?
Yeah, we still have a lot of room for growth in Scandinavia. So even where we have a stronghold in Scandinavia, like I said, 4 of the largest accounting companies in Sweden are using us, 6 in Norway, 10 of 10 in Denmark. So we're still growing in Scandinavia, not only to accounting companies, but also to other, you can say, regulated businesses. That could be law firms or the financial sector. But what we're also growing, and that's, I think, the main rationale for us doing an IPO, was to grow outside Scandinavia. Because when you're doing business in Scandinavia, you think it's natural, you can sign it all digitally and all of that happens. But as soon as you go south of Scandinavia, this is basically not implemented yet. And what you see across Europe, basically the world, but just focusing on Western Europe, you see countries implementing these national electronic ID systems. So like you have Bank ID in Sweden or Bank ID in Norway, we have NemID in Denmark. They are being implemented across Europe. And our growth journey there is to expand to some of these countries that have implemented these national electronic ID. So that's why we now have got the first big customers in Belgium. And now we also integrated to the Finnish system. So we will basically take country by country and focusing a lot initially on the accounting and auditing industry, but also moving out to larger other large businesses. So we are not a consumer platform. We are not for any random SME who just want to have a document signed. We are basically for companies that are focusing a lot more on security and compliance, but we're providing an end-to-end solution.
And could you tell me about the competitive landscape?
Yeah. So many first time or who don't know Penneo that well would think that our main competitors are these large generic signing platforms, mainly coming from US, which you basically sign a computer. But they are not our main competitor, because they are providing a more generic solution and not a tailor-made industry solution. You can say our biggest competitor is the old-fashioned print scan, or the old-fashioned that could you just send it by post, because that's basically a solution in many countries still. Of course, there are also other small digital signature providers across different countries, also in Sweden and Norway. But our value proposition there is to say that, again, we're not focusing on all industries, we're doing something that helps you. And I think that's the reason why we have been able to win the majority of the big accounting companies in the Nordics. And that's basically also our competitive position going forward.
And how has your company been affected of COVID-19?
It's of course always hard to say what would happen if, but you can say in general it's been not negative. You can say we basically, the plans we laid before the IPO we have followed. Of course, it's hard to say would we have grown even more if there was no corona. It's really hard, but we have at least not been negative affected. Of course, it's always strange to onboard new employees, because we're basically growing from 40 to 76 employees during corona. It's different, but I think we learned a lot also, and we see that many of potential customers actually become more digital, right? Because when they don't have their employees in the office, they need a solution like ours even more. So I think net, it has maybe been positive, but it's really hard to say.
Do you think that this digital signing behavior has changed due to Corona, that people will start to use these solutions even more?
Yes, I think so. I think many large companies, we saw that in the spring when people were sent away from the office, they had to change their internal procedures, right? Normally you go to your boss and say, dear boss, can you sign this? What do you then do when your boss is not in the office, right? How do you interact when you can't have physical meetings? So we had the sales calls and want you to sign a contract. Of course, it's natural then, when we already had the sales calls virtual, also to do a digital signature on that. So yes, I think for many processes regarding digitalization, it has speeded up the development that we already see, and I frankly believe that we'll see the same in the future. I think that employees are now used to work from home, to have that opportunity. I think companies are used to taking sales calls virtually. And we can basically see that we can win even large customers abroad, even without meeting them. And we can see that they are starting using our product even without, so you can say, some hands-on workshop, whatever. And we think that's a process that will continue.
Thank you.
Thank you.